Hey folks, got a battle against 1001 here. He's a guy. He hangs out on the channel, talks to me sometimes. Anyway, he leads off with a Vile Plume, and I lead off with my Vice scorer, Corey. Now, typically I try to get Stealth Rocks up, but here I got overexcited, unfortunately, and tried to go for a quick KO with Ice Fang. And I really should have gone for the Stealth Rock. It would save me a lot of grief later. Anyway, Ice Fang does under 50%, which is unfortunate. He tries Sleep Powder, misses, first of a long line of hacks. And still excited, I try to go for an Earthquake, see if it does any more damage. And, truth be told, it doesn't. It does a little more, but it's still not enough to KO that Vile Plume. Vile Plume, I guess, surprisingly bulky. Vile Plume once again goes to Sleep Powder, once again misses. Get used to this hacks, people. And then I finally finished off with another Earthquake. That brings the score to 6-5. He brings in Mr. Krabs as Kingler, and I know this thing likes Swords Dance, so I take advantage of that turn while he's setting up and switch over to Azael. Azael, with Choice Scarf Thunderbolt, should be able to outspeed and hopefully KO with said Thunderbolts. As you can see, he Swords Dance just like I thought he would. But then he sees the T-Bolt coming, and he withdraws and switches over to his Firepower, his Magmortar, which is, well, here's another bit of hacks on my part. I kind of feel bad about all this hacks, unfortunately, but this part didn't really come into play much. I get a critical Thunderbolt, which takes him to about 50%, and then he recovers a little bit with leftovers. And then I want to switch back to Gliscor, because I know Gliscor can take pretty much anything that Magmortar throws at me, and then hopefully KO with an Earthquake. Fire Blast misses, although it probably wouldn't have done much. Although it would have come back to bite me in the ass had it hit. But we'll see that in a couple of minutes. He brings Firepower back in, sends out Mr. Krabs. Look familiar. I will go for the Earthquake strategy. It really doesn't do a whole lot, but guess what? Mr. Earthquake here kinda actually criticals, so I swear this hacks is gonna run out. Anyway, bring Corey back out, because I don't want Corey in on Mr. Krabs. That'd be silly. Try to go for the same strategy I had for Azael last time, but I do switch it up a little bit. He rests, and he has a combo with Rest Chesto Berry, which is a little novelty for a Swords Dance set, but it worked out for the most part. Except for, well, it didn't really work out in this case because of my superior intellect. So he brings out Mr. Krabs, and he actually sends in a Venusaur because he's expecting another T-Bolt. But I switched it up to a Psychic, because Psychic would do more to Magmortar, thanks to Stab. And Mr. Salad here kind of doesn't take this Psychic very well, unfortunately. Does a lot less than, say, it would have to Vile Plume, thanks to Venusaur Prime Layer being a wall, but thanks to Azael's Choice Scarf, I'm absolutely 100% guaranteed to get another Psychic in. And finish off the Salad, bringing the total tie to 6-4. So he decides to bring Firepower back in. I don't really see the logic in here, because Firepower is obviously going to get outspeeded by the Choice Scarf, and Psychic, preferably to Oblivion, but not quite. He goes for a Will-O-Wisp, which misses, but that really wouldn't have mattered much, honestly. Azael, being a special attacker, would not have had attack stats reduced due to Will-O-Wisp, and the residual damage really wouldn't have come into play. So I finished it off with a Psychic, and bring the score to 6-3. Doing well on my way. And at this point I was pretty sure he didn't have a Dark type, because Azael was using Psychic a bunch, but then he brings in Devil Dog here, and I don't really understand why he didn't bring that in. Switch Venusaur out and bring that in. So I switched to Corey because, well, honestly, Larcene would have been a better option. Better special defense, thick fat, and another Earthquake just to abuse the fire type there. He sets up Sunny Day, so I'm expecting Solar Beam, and he actually goes for a Solar Beam. I predicted it well. And again, I'm not sure why I kept Corey in expecting a Solar Beam. I suppose I was relying on Corey's defensive stats, which do actually work out fairly well. Does just about 50% actually, but thanks to Leftovers Recovery, that'll do just fine. So Earthquake is super effective thanks to Houndoom's part fire type, but here's where the Stealth Rocks thing comes in. He's sashed, so I don't manage to get the KO, and it's rather frustrating, honestly, because you're about to see here. Devil Dog, rather than sticking with Solar Beam, has switched to another move which does a heck of a lot more damage. He decides to use Flamethrower, which, thanks to Sunny Day, gets a heck of a boost, and then add in Stab, and it just absolutely decimates Corey. It's unfortunate. I really should have seen that coming. I'll think about it next time. Anyway, that brings the score to 5-3. And at that point, I bring in Nina, because I want to finish it off so it can't do any more damage, so I use Nina's newfound Extreme Speed. And that brings the score to 5-2. And yet you'll see there's still a decent amount of time left in this video, so you'll see that I do have a little bit more trouble. Sunlight is still going, and it does work to my advantage in the next turn, actually. He sends out a Lucario, and I'm hoping to utilize Sunny Day Flamethrower Stab to annihilate this thing. So, he Swords Dances up, which I suppose is semi-logical, considering it's a Lucario. And I use Flamethrower, which naturally does a buttload of damage. But, guess what? This Lucario here, much like the Houndoom there, is also sashed, so Stealth Rock would have been very, very helpful. And then I hope I can use an Extreme Speed to finish it off. But he has, well, similar plans. He uses Extreme Speed as well. And I'm hoping that Nina's bulkiness can get me through this, even though it's an SD thing. And believe it or not, he gets a critical here. But because of the way damage works, criticals avoid stat boosts or drops, so it actually does just about as much as it would have had it not been a critical. I use my own Extreme Speed and finish off Lucario, bring the speed to 5-1. And you'll recall his last remaining Pokemon is Mr. Krabs, Mr. Kingler there. And I know Nina can't really do much to Mr. Krabs, so I hope to get a little bit of damage in, and again, using Extreme Speed, just get that tiny little bit of damage in there. So I can bring in another Pokemon to finish things up. And now Extreme Speed actually does very, very little. I'm surprised. And he finishes Nina off with a Brick Break. Alas, poor Nina. I knew you. And now you can see what I'm doing pretty easily. Azael, Choice Scarf, Thunderbolt. He doesn't have anything to switch to, and Azael has pretty good special attack stats, super effective. You can see where this is going. Thunderbolt takes out Mr. Krabs, wrapping things up for me 4-0. So that concludes this Wi-Fi battle. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thanks a lot, 1001. I had fun. Battler of the match this time is Azael. Azael took out half the opponent's team without even taking a scratch. That is awesome.